Floss Tube. Good morning. My name is Annie and I am the Proper Stitcher. Today is Thursday, April the 1st, 2021, and this is my first floss tube. I am so excited to be here. I have been thinking about doing a floss tube for a while now, but for whatever reason, I kept coming up with different reasons not to proceed with the floss tube, and I had some dear friends tell me to just jump right in, don't overthink it, just have a good time with it, and as you go through each floss tube, it will get better, and you'll figure out what style works for you and what you want to share. I should also mention I'm a little nervous today as well because I am not used to this at all, which makes this even more exciting because I think we should all step out of our comfort zone every once in a while, whether it is by doing something like a floss tube or even in our stitching and our craft that we do at home. Just step outside your comfort zone. Don't worry about things being perfect. And I feel like that is my motto when I stitch a lot and when I do my finishing. And I just want to jump right in, get things started, and I figure as I go through what my whips are and finishes, we can discuss a little bit more about myself and get to know each other a little bit better. As I mentioned, I'm Annie. I am the Proper Stitcher on Instagram, and just a little bit about myself. I live in East Tennessee. I have two children. They're both teenagers, a son and a daughter. And my husband and I have been married for 20 years this month on April 21st. So that's pretty exciting. And I have two dogs that are just so sweet. Bella and Scout are their names, and they keep me busy just as much as my children do. So let me just tell you a little bit about my stitching journey. As you all know, everybody has their own stitching journey, and most of us learned from either a family member or a close friend. And when I was younger, I would spend my summers with my grandmother. I grew up in Louisiana, and I now live in East Tennessee, as I said, but I grew up in Louisiana, and I would spend many, many weeks with my grandmother in the summer. And she quilted and she cross-stitched. She did some embroidery and needlepoint and any of those types of crafts and sewing she did, and as well as gardening and all those sorts of things you think of when you go and visit your grandmother. And she taught me to cross stitch, and I remember the very first piece that I cross stitched, and I wish I had it to this day, but I do not. It was a Christmas ornament, and it was a kit that I think we bought at Walmart, and it was a red ornament, and in the middle of that ornament it said Merry Christmas in the year, and the year was 1984. So that was when I first put a needle in my hand and I fell in love with cross stitch. As I got older and became a teenager and moved when I was in high school, I stopped cross stitching and picked it back up when my son, who is now 15, when he started kindergarten. So that was 10 years ago. I picked it back up. And a lot had changed from 1984 to 2011. So one of the big things that changed was overdyed floss, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the linens. I fell in love with the whole new world of cross stitch, all the designs and samplers, Brenda Gervais, Not Forgotten Farm, all these fun and wonderful designers out there. And then of course the internet helped explode all of those searches and shopping and all of the things that helped me learn about the craft, which was at that time new to me again, because even though I remembered how to cross stitch, all of these new supplies and notions and materials were new to me. So it was so exciting to find all of these new treasures. And how that happened is my son, like I said, he started kindergarten, and I went to a store we had at the time in town. It was a local needleworks shop. And the shop owner, only had primitives and samplers in the store, and some Prairie schoolers. And that is my very first piece, and I'm about to show it to you. My very first piece that I stitched when I returned to stitching was this Not Forgotten Farms piece. And it's called Aw 'Tis Spring. And I just fell in love with her dress. And as you can see, since this was my first time stitching with overdyes, I changed the direction, and so that stands out a little bit, but that was a lesson learned. And again, we learn as we go, right? And so her dress is so cute, and I love this little pocket with the carrot and her little purse that looks like a basket and her little shoes. So cute. And so I stitched this, and I remember it took me a long time because this was my first time stitching on linen. But I had the best time with it, and I love it to this day. I had it finished, professionally finished, because at the time I didn't even know how to finish. I sent this to a local woman, and she stitched it or sewed it into a pillow for me. And this is a pretty good size pillow, and I keep it on a plate stand by my front door with some other displays and vignettes for Easter. But I just love this. I do not remember the linen I used, but I know I used the called for floss. And this, you can still get this pattern, even though it's been quite some time. Lori Brecklin on her Etsy shop, she still has this available. Such a fun stitch, and who doesn't like a little rabbit in a dress? So precious. So that was my first hand back at cross stitching, and it was so much fun to go into that shop and find out all the new products. And one of the things that the shop owner said to me was, you need to stitch a sampler. And I was like, ma'am, this is my first time back to cross stitching. I cannot wrap my head around stitching something so big. So I put that aside and said, that is way outside of my comfort zone at this time. So I stopped. I kept with the small pieces. And so I did that. And so I just want to show you a little bit more of my finished products that I have right now, and then we'll just go through some of my whips and things like that. But that's a little bit of my stitching journey. Love it ever since, and I feel like a day that I'm not stitching is a day that's just not complete, and it really does relax me. I've also been very, very fortunate that I've met so many wonderful friends along the way through Facebook. And I didn't even know there were Facebook groups out there when I started back stitching. And how I found them is, and you'll hear me talk about rabbit holes a lot, and I know a lot of people do, but I kept going down these rabbit holes. And what started it is in that shop, she had all these Prairie schoolers, and I just love the Prairie schooler Santas. And so I started researching Prairie schoolers Santas, and that's how I found Vanna with the Twisted Stitcher, and I found Priscilla, who's now Priscilla and Chelsea with Stitching with the Housewives. I found their Santa trees, and I just had to have all the Santas. I had to find all the Santas, the ones that were out of print, the ones that were from 30 years ago, and I did that. That was my journey that year, and my rabbit hole was to find every single one of the annual Santas. So, but through Facebook and through Pinterest and Instagram and blogs and FlossTube, we are now fortunate that we can open this whole world up to each other. But the cross-stitching community has just been so wonderful and so friendly, just the nicest group of people. I also do a little bit of quilting, and I don't have any quilting to show you today, but I do have some haul of fabric to show you. And I like to say that I'm a lazy quilter, and what I mean by that is I really do like to use pre-cuts, because I am not really good with quilting, but I do enjoy it. I love it, and I love having a blanket in my house that I can wrap up with, and a quilt that I can give to my children and to my family, and just wrap in love with all the people who receive my gifts. So I'll try to keep cross-stitch and quilting separate in the videos, so if you're not interested in one or the other, you can skip through it. But the quilting will probably be a smaller section, just because I don't quilt as much as I cross-stitch. So let's get to it, okay? Some of my finishes are old enough that I still do not have the pattern, or I can't find it. But I think I remember all the names. So this one is Spring Delivery. I think you can see that. Spring Delivery. There's a glare. I'm sorry. Spring Delivery by Brenda Gervais with Dye Needle and Thread. And what I did with this one is I got my inspiration from Priscilla, Blaine, and Chelsea with Stitching with the Housewives. And I found this frame at Hobby Lobby. and it reminded me of shiplap, and I just loved how white it was, and it just reminded me of springtime. And I held on to this frame for a while because I didn't know how I wanted to finish it, or how I wanted to use it. And then I just thought of this bunny that I had stitched. I stitched this probably 3 years ago when we were on spring break, and it was so cold that year at the beach, and we were not outside that much. So I stitched, and this was, I cannot remember what linen I used. This is before I started keeping track of everything, but I did use the called for colors. I found this fabric in my stash, just a neutral background and then a green with some dots. And I got these picks or flowers at Hobby Lobby, and I just cut them. And this bow, and then this little bitty charm. I wish I had stitched him or sewn him on the linen, but I forgot about him, and I couldn't pass it up using it. And I got this charm at a cross stitch retreat several years ago. So this was a fun stitch. It was a quick stitch, and I just love it. So that is in my house right now. The next thing I have to show you was a gift, and it was from an exchange from one of those retreats that I went to, a cross stitch retreat. And when I got this gift and I opened it, I could not believe that someone stitched this and was giving it away. I mean, how beautiful is this? This is Stacy Nash, and I cannot remember the name of it. I wrote it down, and I don't have it in front of me, but it is on my Instagram. And isn't that just beautiful? Oh, and the blue fabric, I love blue. The person who gave it to me, it was an anonymous gift. They didn't know that I was receiving it, but coincidentally, blue is my favorite color. Absolutely love blue. And this stands on an end table in my living room, and I love it. Absolutely love it. The other previous finish that I have, this one cracks me up, makes me giggle. This is another Brenda Gervais, and it's called Springtime Social. And I just love chickens, love roosters, and what could be better than a chicken, or a rabbit riding a chicken? So cute. This, I did use the called for thread and linen. And this was the first time I tried using walnut crystal spray. And Brenda Gervais had the directions in the pattern on how to do that, how to spray it, and then you put it in the oven. And it was, if I had to do it again, I wouldn't do it. I would just, that was before I discovered dyed linen. So, excuse me. So I sprayed it, and it got a little splotchy, but it turned out great. And anytime I make a mistake, especially with a primitive design, I just say, well, that just makes it primitive, right? So I love it. Love having all the spring cross-stitch items in my house. I'm building up that collection. So it's been fun to have it out this spring. Okay, so let's go to some haul. I took a great trip this weekend. I went to Louisville, Kentucky, and met some friends there, and we went to the Finishing Touch, which is a cross-stitch store in Louisville, Kentucky. And the women there are so nice. Sandra and Carol work there, and Sandra owns it. Carol does a great job with linen, and she can pick out any linen for you. If you show her a design and you say, I cannot find the linen for this, she has so many great recommendations. But we went there. Their shop is precious, and I put their photos on Instagram as well. But the shop is small, but it has everything you need. It has a beautiful selection of linen, of all the floss you can imagine. So many samples on the walls that you really get an idea of what that design is. And honestly, the more samples that a stitching store has on their walls, the more patterns I buy, because I just fall in love with a piece when I see it finished, and I can visualize it. I'm a visual person, and so I can see how it's done, and it really makes me want to buy that pattern. Whether or not I stitch it is a different thing, but I love it. Love, love, love going to cross-stitch stores and seeing all their samples. So I did get some great haul, and I'm going to show you some of that. And I've gotten some other haul over the last few weeks from other stores, either through mail or online, but I wanted to show you what I got at the Finishing Touch. They are great, and they can mail you anything that you want. But my birthday is this month, and so as a surprise, my friends just said, we're going to the store, last minute trip, and have yourself a good time. So I did, and I am so excited about this new pattern. It is by, and I'm going to take it out of the plastic because I think there's a glare. It's a beautiful day here today. It rained yesterday, and now it's really springy and sunny, but it's cold. So the sun's coming through the window, and it's just giving us a glare. But this is by Hello from Liz Matthews, and this is Butterfly Cloche. I have wanted this since I saw it on her Instagram and FlossTube, and when everybody was talking about Needlework Expo. I love this, and I've been trying to figure out, why do I love this so much? And I think it's because it reminds me of, and I know this is what it is, especially with the year and the cloche, and then the linen looks a lot like antique linen, like real paper. And it reminds me of when you go to a natural history museum, and they have I'm losing my words. They have either the dried or the taxidermy animals or butterflies, and then they also have works on linen or on paper from these old natural history books. And I love it. I just absolutely love this piece. I have all the floss to start it, but they did not have the linen for it. So they got it on Monday, and they are shipping it to me. And as soon as I get that linen, you know I'm starting it, because I already have everything to do it. So I cannot wait to start that piece, and hopefully next week or the next video I do, I can show it to you. I also got the latest Prairie Schooler Santa. Just love it. Love all those animals. So cute. I got, this was another piece that they had on the wall. They had it finished, and I just fell in love with it. I don't think I can get it out. I did not buy the material and the floss for it, but I will get to it too. This is called Heap on the Wood, and it's a Brenda Gervais, and I just love these two. I might even make a little Christmas ornament with those. So sweet, so cute. And then I got some, this one I got. I didn't get a lot of haul from this store, which is unusual for me, but maybe I was hungry. We went around lunchtime. So I got paper snowflakes, and this was another one that they had done, finished, and it was framed, ready to go on the wall. And I just love this one, Paper Snowflakes, also by Brenda Gervais. And I just love her dress, and she's holding scissors, and if you look closely, you can see the snowflakes. So just like you cut paper snowflakes for Christmas decorations and ornaments. But I got the linen to go with it. And this linen is Mayflower Mocha, and it's beautiful. I think it's going to be beautiful for this design. Can't wait to start that one. Then I got the floss, like I said, to go with the Butterfly Cloche. And some other haul that I got. I was watching Brenda and the Serial Stitcher, and love those ladies. If you have not watched their floss too, please go watch them. They are the sweetest ladies, and I love their banter back and forth. But they always have great things to say, and inspiration, and just really motivational. But they were talking about this book, and it's called Women's Work. And when they were talking about it, I went on Amazon immediately and bought it. And it was only $8. And how beautiful is this book? And it is an embroidery in colonial Boston. And I love anything history. And I just love to look at beautiful pictures and old needlepoint and needlework. I feel like that's important to know, where, just to know that this has been something that women have done and men have done for centuries and for a long time, and we're keeping that alive, and that just makes me so happy. A few other things I got. I have some paddles from Leela May Designs, and I will work on that glare next time, but paddles from Leela May Designs. If you have not heard of these ladies, they have a Facebook page, and it's called Leela May Designs, and they make project bags that have cross stitch on it, and they finish it into a project bag. But then they also have a wood cell, And these are fantastic for finishing items. So like a little ornament or a small that you want to put on a plate. Love these, absolutely. So go and like their Facebook page if you haven't already, and you won't be disappointed. Wonderful things. Okay. Now, I'm also bad about online shopping, and I don't mean to, but I saw Blueberry Hill Stitchery, I believe it is, in Ohio. They posted on Facebook some linen that they got in, and it looked beautiful because I was looking for the perfect shade of gray linen, and this looked like it would be it, and it is. It came in the other day. It's called Graceful Gray, and it is so pretty. So I ordered that, and they were great to ship it to me. And then I went on down Sunshine Lane and ordered a lot of stuff. And I didn't mean to. But for some reason, I had a kick one night where I just needed to get some Plum Street samplers. And so I ordered all these Plum Street sampler patterns. I got Soul Sisters. And this was so sweet. It says, "In friendship, let's join thine interest with mine." I thought that was so sweet. And here's another one about friendship. And it's a Plum Street sampler, and it's called A Friend Loveth. And it says, "A friend loveth at all time." And I just love that. And then I got their their Salt Box series, one for each season. Spring, summer, autumn, winter, so cute. Got those. And what else did I get? And then I got Spring Delivery. I got the other one. Spring Delivery by Scattered Seed Sampler. I love those bunnies. And this one's actually kitted up and ready for me to stitch. So obviously it won't be done by Easter. So I'll start on that for next year. And two more things I found. One was Christmas Rose, Blackbird design. This is number 4 in a series. And I just love this. So pretty. So pretty. And I love these cardinals in this house. It's beautiful. And then I got the Winter Rose Manor by Brenda Gervais. I love this. I've seen this one stitched, of course, and done. They had it in the shop this weekend at Finishing Touch. Absolutely beautiful. And this even has a little small on the back. So definitely a nice booklet. All right, who's ready to see some whips? I have quite a bit. So what I might do is cut it in half, the whips, and then save some for next time. To say that I have a problem with project bags and starting and not finishing things is an understatement, but I'm getting better. And that's another reason I thought this floss tube would help me keep track of what I'm stitching, help me finish some of these stitches, these projects, and get them on Instagram and to show you what I'm doing. All right, let me get a few things for you. Okay, so like I said, I've mentioned before, I absolutely love history. I was an art history major. Do not do that. I did not use that degree, but I love art history and anything to do with history. So I found recently, I'm late to the game on a lot of things, but I found recently Modern Folk Embroidery and enjoy watching his floss tube because he gives you so much history. And I don't know if you remember when I said I went to the first cross stitch store that when I was reintroduced to cross stitch, the shop owner says you need to pick a sampler. You need to do a sampler. And I was so intimidated by it. And I kept thinking, that's such a commitment. And there's so much to picking a sampler. Everything from the colors to what the message is on the sampler, to the size, to all those things. And that overwhelmed me. So I never jumped into stitching samplers. But I kept thinking I would love to. I appreciate them and I love to look at them. And I have so many friends who stitch them and frame them. But I just always felt like I couldn't do it. And I still and feel that way. But Jacob has a new stitch along and he does one every year. And this one is called Fruit of Plenty. And I thought, what a perfect sampler for me because there are no words and you can pick any colors you want, 2 shades of floss, or and some people have done multiple shades. But when I saw this image, I felt like it was a message because I love blue and white. Anything blue and white together, my favorite. And I thought, this is something I can do. And he emails you 1 section a month, and by the end of the year, you'll have this whole design done. And it's quite big, but I love it. Now, with other things, I am late to the game, but I was so excited to get this started this weekend when I was out of town with some friends, and I'm so happy to show it to you because it is such a fun stitch. Now, I picked DMC, the recommended DMC that Jacob suggested, and I'll give you those colors in a minute. So I have started this up here. Love it. It is such a fun stitch, effortless. It just feels like it's speaking to me. Do y'all ever feel that way? Like a design is speaking to you? I really feel that way on this. But it is stitched on 32 count antique white Belfast linen, and I love it. It is soft. It is going to look just beautiful. I can't wait to get it done and show you my progress. Hopefully by next month he just released April 1st. So hopefully by the end of May I can be caught up. But I'm enjoying it so much. So I am using, and I went ahead and bought all of the DMC at one time because I wanted to keep the dye lots the same and make sure that I could have it, because right now we all know that some places are low on inventory. So I ordered the linen and the floss, the DMC, from another shop that I like to go to. It's in Johnson City, Tennessee, and it's called Just Crosshatch and Crafts. And Sandra and Amy are wonderful. And I go in there probably 3 or 4 times a year, but I order from them all the time. And they are great to send it to me, and they can mail me something and I have it within a day or 2. But I am using, for the darker color, I'm using DMC 3750. And then for the lighter color, I'm using DMC 932. And I think it's maybe 18 skeins of each that you need. But I recommend going ahead and just buying it all at the beginning, just so you don't have to worry about not having enough and the dye lots being different. So, but that is Modern Folk Embroidery, Fruit of Plenty, Stitch Along 2021. So pretty. Now, another thing that you need to know about me, like I said, I have an obsession with project bags. And these are Nikkis Notables. Absolutely love her bags. And she has them in 3 or 4 different sizes, and she sells them on her Etsy shop. And beautiful, beautiful work. And I love that I can see what's in my bag, so I can grab it and go and know what I'm getting. Okay, so another whip that I have, and I just started this one. Another Nikkis Notable bag, super cute. This is a Blackbird design, and I am stitching this one. Oh wait, I'll show you that one later. This is another Nikkis Notable, but this is a Blackbird design. I haven't gotten far enough on this one. I'll show you that one next month or next time. So I love the Blackbird design. This one is from Home for the Holidays, and I am stitching. Let me find a photo. I should have flagged it, but I am stitching the one with the cardinal. Hang on. And I'm sure you all know what it is. Here we go. It's this one. 'Tis the Season. So pretty. My grandmother loved cardinals, and you know, anytime you see a cardinal, people say that it's someone who has passed saying hello to you or visiting you, and I feel that way with my grandparents. They both loved cardinals. They fed birds. They had them all around their house. So I just love this piece. So this is stitched on 32 count Belfast, excuse me, not Belfast. This is Picture This Plus. Here we go. No, it's Belfast. It's 32 count Valor Belfast. And it is a beautiful green. And I'm using the Bellassois Classic Colorworks floss. I started this piece in December, and I had to put it down because my hands were dry. My thumbs were dry and my fingertips were dry, and I kept pulling the silk, and it was frustrating me. So I had to put it aside. I had to put it in timeout for a little bit until my hands healed, and now I've picked it back up again. With the spring weather, my hands aren't as dry. But what I really love about this piece is the linen, and of course the silks. The silks are beautiful, but the linen is amazing. They also, with the Belfast linen, they have it in a pink shade. I don't know the name of it. I think I'm going to look for that and do that for the winter rose. I think that'll be really pretty. But the green, it's called Valor Belfast Linen. Beautiful. This is something that I've started a couple of years ago, and I put it away and forgot about it and found it when I was pulling out all of my spring stuff. And it is Spring Frolic at Bunny Hill by Brenda Gervais. I just love those. I love blue, and they're holding a blue basket and have blue flowers. And I just thought it was so sweet. And I am stitching this on Vintage Country Mocha, 32 count. And I've got quite a bit left. I've got another bunny and to finish stitching the green and the grass. And then on this side, I have to do a 1, 2, 3. So I'll have that done definitely by next Easter. We should hope, right? Okay, another one that I've been wanting to stitch, and I've had this pattern in my stash for years. These patterns came out in 2014, so I've had it that long, and I'm just now getting around to stitching it. And this is Summer at Cherry Hill, Brenda Gervais. Oh, I like to put my sticker of, if I have a sticker from the linen that I'm using on the bag, it helps me remember. And I'm using the Vintage Country Mocha, the Belfast. That seems to be my go-to for a lot of things. I like the way it feels in my hand. I don't stitch in hand, but I like the way it feels in my hand. And I like the way the marbling on the linen looks. But I got a good start on this weekend. So I started the alphabet. And I just love this pattern. I love the girl's dress. I love everything about it. But I did change the red. The red called for red was chili pepper, and for some reason the dye lot right now on the chili pepper was too pinkish, so I switched it to cherry cobbler, and it's perfect. I'm excited about it. Now when I finish this, I'm also going to start this and hopefully have it done by the 4th of July. And I feel like they're companion pieces, even though they don't, they don't look that much alike, but they were released around the same time. And I hope to have this one done. This is Stars and Stripes, also by Brenda Gervais. Both of these are still available, but they've been out for many years. So I think that's why I buy patterns when I see them and I like them. And I know, I'm not going to stitch it right away, but I like to have it so that you never know when you may decide today's the day I want to stitch that piece. And so that's what I did with this one. I've been thinking about them for a long time. Okay, so let me show you another piece I've been working on, and it's a Christmas piece. I do a lot of Christmas stitching. I decorate a lot for Christmas. It's insane, and I love it. And my whole family appreciates it, and my whole family appreciates all my cross stitch. They make fun of me, but because they call it needlepoint, even though they know it's cross stitch, but they just like to give me a hard time. But they're so supportive and so appreciative, and they love everything. When my son was little, meaning 5 years old, I would ask him, you pick which piece should I start, and I'll show him 2 or 3 patterns, and he would pick the one for me. And that was sort of me getting him excited about what I was doing and interested in it, because he would go with me sometimes to the cross stitch store. Okay, so Country Cottage Needleworks. This is Silent Night. All is calm, all is bright. And I just love this. I got this linen. It's a mystery piece. I don't know what it is, but it is a beautiful shade of blue. And I just love it. Can't wait to get this one done. I really hope to have it done long before this Christmas. I just have a few more. And then let me show you this is exciting. Okay, so this year I went with a friend to an antique store in this little town, about 45 minutes away from me, and we were in this shop, and I saw this, and I just couldn't catch my breath. I couldn't believe it. I was so excited to see it, and we all, I've already said that I love Prairie Schooler, and I just couldn't believe that this was in the shop. And whoever stitched it, I don't know, unfortunately they put this tape on it, but I'm going to take that off. And they stitched Merry Christmas at the bottom. This is a Prairie Schooler Santa, and it's a very large piece, and I just felt like I couldn't leave him there. Even though I have this one stitched as an ornament, I just could not leave him in that store. So I picked him up, and I plan to finish him into a big throw pillow for my sofa. And my family, we were all excited when I brought it home. I was like, look what I found. And they knew what it was. They were excited for me. So that is just one of those things. When you see something in a cross-stitch store, in an antique store, you just can't leave it behind, or I can't. Okay, now I want to show you some things that I have finished stitching, but I have not finished. So, hopefully, I'm really good at stitching things and kind of getting them finished, and then not so good about finally fully finishing them. So this is, and I have, this is the Stitching with the Housewives Jolly July ornament series, but this one is called Jolly Claws. And I have all of this series in this one bag, and I have all the floss in the bag. So and the linen. And so when I'm ready to stitch it, it's all together. I don't have to think about it and don't have to pull the thread. It's done because I know they're all going to use the same colors. So I stitched this Jolly Claws, and this is on Fabrics by Stephanie Slate. Love it. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's a big piece. So I went ahead and bought a big piece so that I can just continue and stitch these and have them ready to go all in one piece. So that one was a fun stitch. I have a few more that I just really need to get them finished. Okay, so I've stitched, this was all of the Prairie Schoolers I stitched. I don't remember the years. I'll have to go and find the cards. I have all the Prairie Schooler cards in the same project bag with all the DMC. So, and I have this Davos fabric. And when the rabbit hole I went down that I told you about, when I got all of the Prairie Schooler cards, I went ahead and called the shop in Johnson City, and it's called just Crosshatch Crafts. And I said, Amy, I want to stitch all of these, and I don't know what this Davos is. And so I've never seen it, but it's what it's called for. And this is before I got comfortable with changing out linen and thread. And so she ordered them for me. She ordered enough for me to do all the Santas, and she went ahead and cut them for me and serged them for me. So these are, when I'm in the car on a road trip, this is my go-to because I can see it, and it's quick and it's easy, and all the colors are together. So those are three that I have not been fully finished. And I sew these into ornaments. And I do the pillow ornaments. I might start doing some in the flat finishing, but right now I have, all the ones I have are finished as pillow ornaments. So I might keep them all the same, just so they're the same. This one is my favorite. This was so much fun to stitch. This is Plum Pudding by Brenda Gervais, and I just love this red. I think it's licorice red. Cannot remember. I have a tree in my kitchen every year, and it's sort of a food themed tree, and I think I'm going to finish this for the tree topper. I usually do a big bow inside, but I think I'm going to switch it to this and put a bow on it, and I think that'll be cute. This is something I got the last time I went to just the Finishing Touch, and this one is, I think I even have the pattern. Yeah. It's called By Golly, Be Jolly by Lizzie Kate. And I just love how simple this frame is. And they had it finished in a similar frame on the wall. And I'm going to do just the same. I'm going to finish it in a frame. And this came as a kit. So it has little bitty tiny beads right here. And that was so much fun to stitch and so quick. And so this linen came in with the kit too. So I'm not sure what the linen is. And I have just one more to show you. Two more. This one I hope I have finished by next week. This is also a Lizzie Kate and it's spring. And I changed the colors to similar colors that Priscilla did. And those I got from her blog. Super pretty. This is something that, have you ever started a piece and there was something about it you just weren't connecting with? And that's what this piece was. I love everything by Brenda. Absolutely love it. I didn't like the linen I chose for it. And that made me not want to do it. But now that it's done, I'm excited. I don't have the pattern with me. It's downstairs, but I love it. This is going to be, now that it's done, I love it, but this is going to be a pillow. So I'm going to finish it into a throw pillow for my sofa for Christmas. So I made it a lot bigger than the directions did on the, or suggested on the website, or excuse me, on her pattern. So it was a quick and easy stitch. I just didn't like the linen I picked, and I don't even remember what the linen is. I stitched this a few years ago. I need to finish it. So well, that's all of my cross stitch. I'm going to show you some of my quilting haul that I got recently. Some as gifts, some from Fat Quarter Shop, but and it won't take too long, but it's super cute. I love Bonnie and Camille, and this was actually a birthday gift to me by a friend, and this is, I cannot wait to start this. Aren't these beautiful? So this is a Fat Quarter bundle, and this is Bonnie and Camille's Hello Darling, and it is darling. It's so sweet. I just love all those colors, and I cannot wait to start that. I also signed up for, or I didn't sign up for it, excuse me. I bought this kit, a Bonnie and Camille kit, and it's called a Beacon Quilt Kit, and got it from Fat Corner Shop. This was one of those things that a late night shopping splurge I did, really naughty, but beautiful fabric. And I don't want to take it out of the package just yet, or I haven't taken it out of the package just yet, but it's a cute kit. We'll see if I can do it. It has 4 charm packs in it, so I think I can cut the charm packs, or the 5-inch squares. That should be something I can do. And then my last one is a Lori Holt. Absolutely love Lori Holt. She's one of my favorite FlossTube channels to watch too. But this is her Vintage Happy series. So I bought some charm packs. And when I said earlier that I'm a lazy quilter, it just means that I love pre-cuts. And I got that idea from Priscilla and Chelsea. They did some strip-along quilts and charm pack quilts. And I went online and watched the videos at Fat Quarter Shop and learned so much from those videos. And I just enjoy it. I don't want to spend too much time cutting and making a quilt and getting frustrated because I'm not lining up everything perfectly. I just want a finished product that we can start to enjoy. And so I got the charm packs. This is going to be my binding, and then this will be my backing. And I just love, love, love that. Love it. And that's a Lori Holt Vintage Happy 2, actually. But back to what I was saying about things being perfect. And so what I was noticing is, like, I have a lot of finishes and that I haven't fully finished. And I know a lot of people don't do projects because they think, well, I can't do it right, or it's not going to be perfect. And I actually met Priscilla once, Priscilla Blaine, at a retreat. And I was telling her that. And she said, I would rather have a finished product that's not perfect than to not have it finished at all. And that resonated with me because that's what was keeping me from finishing a lot of things, is it's not going to be perfect. I can't make it just like she does, or I can't do it just like my friend did. And then I realized it's okay. Just have fun with it. And sometimes you just have to jump right in and do it. And that's kind of been my motto on a lot of things. So that's my thought for this channel too. I just don't want people to think that you have to be perfect to do something you enjoy, and just have fun with it. A few things I do want to talk about, some of the floss tubes that I like to watch, because when I was trying to decide if this is something I wanted to do, I binge watched a lot of floss tubes, and I found so many enjoyable channels, and I've loved watching the Kindred Stitcher. I've enjoyed watching Javagirl Crosshatch Quilts. Holt is a wealth of knowledge. I watched, some friends of mine have a channel, and theirs is called 3 Stitchers in a Bottle of Wine. There are just so many floss tube channels out there, and next time I'll have a list and specifics that I like about each one. But I really appreciate this floss tube community and the cross stitch community. We are very fortunate that everybody is so giving of their information and knowledge. So that is probably going to be all for today. I've enjoyed this. Thank you for being patient with me, and I hope to do this again soon. Again, my name is Annie. I am the Proper Stitcher, and follow me on Instagram. I think I'll have a giveaway for next time, so that you know, we can get to know each other a little bit better. So tell me your favorite cross stitch store. If you'll comment below, just let me know what your favorite cross stitch store is, where you like to spend your stitching money. And I don't know what I'll give away, but I'll definitely have something fun. And I'll try to do this again next week. But let me know where you like to spend your stitching money. And be a subscriber to my channel. And just comment below and like the video. And please tell your friends about it. But I am the Proper Stitcher on Instagram. And I look forward to seeing you all again really soon. Have a happy Easter and enjoy your weekend. And hopefully you'll have some wonderful weather. Thanks. Bye.